They have a saying in the world of show business: never meet your heroes, never work with children or indeed pets. Is this now the problem that's facing the one-time royal Meghan Markle after she really had a spectacular, shall we say, meeting with someone that apparently she held in great esteem, but now, according to a very good source, perhaps not so? Who as ever are we talking about? Hi, good morning, Neil Sean here in the very heart of London. Nice to see you, welcome one and all. As I say, this story really is strange because, when you do meet your celebrity icons, it's very strange, because you do become a little bit giddy because these are the people that you've only seen maybe or heard on a record or seen on a picture sleeve or a movie. And then when you meet them, you realise that they're just like you and me, I mean, I remember meeting Jennifer Aniston at the Dorchester Hotel, and she was, not in the best of moods, and we got ushered in, and it was like a 10-minute interview, but nobody told her that I was entering the room. And as I walked into the room, there she was, smoking. Oh yes, that's right. And she was starring in a movie at the time with Vince Vaughn, so there was a lot riding on this. But she got really upset because the PR person hadn't bothered to inform her. So I'd caught her out smoking, you see. Now, it didn't bother me, but then she kind of lit up, quite literally, and went tonto and didn't want to do the interview and all this sort of stuff. And up until then, of course, I'd liked her and enjoyed her performances as Rachel in Friends. After that, as you can imagine, not so. We did the interview, and perhaps we could be kind and say this was a few years ago, just around the time that she'd fallen foul of the love of Brad Pitt. Maybe she was just having a bad day. Maybe though, so was this star guest on a recent podcast for the one and only former royal known as the Duchess of Sussex, Meghan Markle. Let me explain. Now, as we know, Meghan's already got 2 under her belt. We think 8's been done so far. These are the podcasts where she gets to finally be her, gets her voice back. She's never shut up, has she? And, people get to see the real her. I think they've seen the real her, don't you? Whatever the truth is, it doesn't really seem to land on Planet Meghan, does it? There's always another version of it, but apparently we have to live with it. According to a very good source, the recent guest was none other, as we now know, than the international superstar Mariah Carey, a woman who sold literally millions of records around the world to great success. She's appeared in a movie, done concerts, and of course, incredibly, she had her own reality TV series, but even that failed to light off because apparently a lot of people didn't like to see Mariah being such a diva, even though it was scripted. She's not truly like that at all. But according to a very good source, and as ever we have to say allegedly, Mariah was having none of the truck that apparently Meghan was putting towards her. She felt she was there to promote what she does, which is Mariah, and there was a little tense, shall we say, in the room. Now, you may have read this as Meghan saying, oh well, she couldn't believe that Mariah had called her a diva. But according to a very good source, and as ever, we have to say allegedly, behind the scenes, things turned, shall we say, a little bit chilly. Meghan didn't like this line of questioning at all, but was persuaded to keep this in because they felt this was a good selling point around the world. So of course, the actual response that she gave wasn't necessarily the response you hear in the final edit. And as ever, again, we have to say allegedly. According to a good source, the next edition, next line should I say, of that podcast was edited in, dubbed in, so it made it look a lot softer. Now, while they may say that they're the best of chums in public, according to a very good source close to Mariah, who I know incredibly well, Mariah was a little bit perplexed at the direction of which the interview was going. And while she enjoyed it, she didn't quite understand exactly the direction and, more importantly, the purpose of that story. Of course, as I say, out in public, divas always stick together. But according to that source, one thing for sure, Meghan may have loved Mariah as her dream lover, as an international singer, as a woman who gave her all those hit records to cry to when she was growing up as a teen. But seemingly now, Mariah could be, shall we say, cut loose, faster than even Mariah possibly thought. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.